Okay, so continuing on with our activity. So the first step is always, of course, know your problem, know what you are going to look for, and then, of course, get your data. So in obtaining the data, one of the things that you can use is the Google Cloud Bigquery. So the Bigquery is Google Cloud's fully managed, a petabyte scale and cost-effective analytics data warehouse that lets you run analytics over vast amounts of data in near real time. So the Google Cloud Bigquery uses SQL format. So for Python, actually, in this activity, sorry, in this course, we won't be needing to install the actual Google Cloud BigQuery program, but rather we will be accessing the Google Cloud BigQuery using Python. So for us to integrate Python with Google Cloud BigQuery, we need this three packages. So we need to install Google Cloud BigQuery, Google Cloud BigQuery Storage, and PyArrow. That is in addition to the three other data science packages that we would be using. Actually, we would use Pandas and Matplotlib. In this activity, NumPy, we won't be using much NumPy. But anyway, let's see first. Let's install first the packages. So I noticed most of you are using PyCharm. So actually, I myself installed PyCharm so that I can use the same IDE for most of you. But for those that are using Jupyter or are using just the simple IDE, so or rather using the console, you need to install first the packages. Now, the thing about PyCharm is that unlike using the pip install command in the console, it has a GUI, sorry, or a graphical interface method of installing packages. So if you open here, actually I already opened my own PyCharm and made a project. So in your case, you can either create a project, but if you create a project, for example, let's say a new project, you will be actually creating a project in a virtual environment. So if you are just going to open a file in PyCharm, for example, let's open this where is it? For example, this one. Okay. So let's open it in a new window. Okay, so when you open it in a new window, for example, this is from your folder where you usually store, or rather where you store the Python scripts that I have given you. So when you look at the packages, you already have many packages installed. In particular, you have actually Pandas, SciPy, Matplotlib, what else? PyArrow is already here, and Google Cloud BigQuery and Google Cloud BigQuery Storage. But if you create a new project, you will end up with something like this one. So this is the installed files are just the pip and the setup tools. So basically, you don't have any packages installed here. So if we are going to start from scratch, so let's just start from scratch. If you want, this is just for the sake of showing you how to install the packages, because I can see some of you have been asking me how to actually install the package and why our Google Cloud BigQuery are encountering errors because some of the packages are not installed. So let's see. We have NumPy. Let's search for NumPy in the repository. So let's install NumPy. And then, what are the other packages? Matplotlib. So, just look for the Matplotlib here. Matplotlib. Okay, Matplotlib. So, install your... Okay, so you have now installed successfully NumPy. And then, just click install for Matplotlib. And then, what is the other one? Pandas. Okay, so here is Pandas. So, install Pandas. Okay, so this is Pandas. So usually just install the default, which is the latest edition. But sometimes there were cases that what some packages are actually outdated, and there are incompatibilities with the version. So you need to look at their websites. What is the compatibility? They have listed the compatibility of their packages. Okay, so anyway, what else aside from Pandas we need to have? Again, what are those tools that we need again? So Google Cloud BigQuery, Google Cloud BigQuery Storage, and PyArrow. So let's install those. So Google Cloud BigQuery. We have Google Cloud BigQuery. Okay, so this is the Python client. So just click install. And then what's the other one? BigQuery Storage. Okay, here it is. So install as well. So what else? So let's see what we have installed. Okay, so although we have only specified Pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, Google Cloud BigQuery, they are already, as you can see the installed Python packages, you have more than those that you have named. That is because your PyCharm installs the packages that are the dependencies. So some packages are dependent on other packages. So in this case, you have this um, you can see that you have more than one or multiple packages installed, even if you just specify one. So do we have a PyArrow already? No PyArrow yet? Okay, so let's install PyArrow. So you have PyArrow and install them. Okay, so that's for your Google Cloud BigQuery. Now I already have my Python scripts here. So these are the required packages. So we are, although we have the packages and we have the script, we still cannot run it because we need to have our client, or rather our key, the JSON file query key. So how do we get those query key? So for the case of that query key, so sorry. Okay, so you need to log into console.developers.google.com. So it will get you to the Google Cloud platform. So yet made uh, if you haven't yet created an account, you need to, of course, create account. I think I made a link to a different video, not mine, but a different video for getting the Google Cloud, how to set up your Google Cloud platform. So in this case, you will be using BigQuery. So let's say, let's create a new project. Let's say, for instance, a new project. So this is for DS100. So no organization because generally, it's just a simple activity. So we're not working on a really big project here. So this is your project, the S100. So although you had created a new project, you are not automatically inside your actual BigQuery, or rather the S100 project. You are in the default page. You need to select the project first. So that this one will be changed. So notice from sample 2 it becomes the S100. So that means you are now inside the dashboard of your DS100 project. And then enable your API. So our API is BigQuery. So we need to try this one. Okay, so this is the API Explorer. Okay, so let's go back to our data. Dashboard. Okay. So we need to create our own credentials. So by the way, for you to actually properly create, or rather properly use your Google Cloud, or to comfortably use Google Cloud Platform, you need to activate your account. So, it would require you to input a debit or a credit card. So that is one of the steps. Unfortunately, we cannot skip that. We need to enter actually. My suggestion is for you to enter your debit card instead of a credit card account. Anyway, Google Cloud Platform won't be charging you anything. Instead, you will get a $300 worth of credits. The $300, you can use that to download the data from the cloud platform, because the cloud platform is actually a large repository of data. So aside from COVID data, you have any type of data you can think of, whether data on the weather patterns, etc., etc. You can find it here. And they charge not on time, but they charge on the number of amount of information, the amount of the file size basically that you are going to download from the database in the Google Cloud Platform. So that's how they charge it. But anyway, so let's create our credentials. So as you can see here, no API name, client IDs none, service account none. So we need to create credentials for a service account. So for a service account, you need to create a service account. So let's just create a service account. So let's say DS100 underscore activity. So let's say this is our service account. So this is the service account ID. So create and continue. So the role here must be the owner. So you have a role. You need to specify the role as your owner. Okay, continue. Okay, so grant access to this additional account. So we don't have that generally. So this is done. Okay, so this is your service account. So what we need to do here, why we need to create this service account, is so that we can actually create a key, an authentication key. So we have, clicking on that. Okay, so this is our service account details. We need to create a key. So if you click on okay, so recap, we go to the service account. This is our service account. So we go to the keys, and then we create a key. So since we don't have any existing key. So the key is in a JSON file. So let's create one. Okay. So this is the JSON file, and we need to save it on the same folder that we have our Python projects. So my Python project is in Python project 1. So in this case, this is my JSON file. So as you can see here, from all files, this is where I put my Bigquery COVID Python file. That is where I will get my account. So save. Okay, so this is now, the key is now saved on my computer. So going back to PyCharm, so let's go to the console. Okay, so let's see, this is our Bigquery account. So going to the code that we have, so let's see. So here is the script. So although I already made a script for you, so easier for you. So we have here in this part, you can see here some warnings and errors. So we have 2 warnings, 7-week ones, and we have, I think, what's the other one? 1 typo error. But anyway, so what are those warnings? So you can click on them. What is the warning? So unused import statement NP. So basically, it detects that in the whole code, we are not using the numpy. So it's okay, it won't crash. If you import numpy without using it, it won't crash, but it's just telling you that you are doing something unnecessary. So we can just remove that. So it's either you delete it or make it into a comment. So I made it into a comment, so I had it like that. And then another one, unused statement as the pandas. We didn't use pandas here, so just put it like that. Okay, now we are using Matplotlib. Here is, where is Matplotlib? Somewhere. Here is the horizontal bar graph chart. In this, we're using here the Matplotlib. So it's here, and then the Google Cloud Bigquery. Okay, now setting up our query. So this is the query, because the Bigquery database uses the SQL format. So this is basically the SQL language. This is not a Python language, this is SQL. So here, what does it name? So basically, this code calls the Matplotlib package and your Google Cloud package. So basically, it will be using these two packages um, for this run or for this particular session. And then this is the query. So you will input here. This query is more or less a vessel for what you will be downloading. So for the query, this is the query. So from your country population, so we'll get the country population as of 2018. So this is the country code shown as the format ISO. So that's the two-letter format for the country code for the census on year 2018. Now, this is from the Bigquery Public Data World Bank. This is a different database. It's also from inside Bigquery, but this is a different database for the this is from basically population census by country. So we will be getting the country code, the country name, and then for the other one, we will be also, as I said, we will be getting the country code, the name of the country, cumulative confirmed as of December, the population from this global population data, and then the cumulative confirmed over population. This is the case percent. So we'll just get the percentage of the cumulative or rather the confirmed cases as a case percent. This one is from the December data. So you have the Bigquery. So another database, you are using the COVID-19 open data. So this is from the World Bank global population data for the census of the population. So basically, we are using two databases here. So the World Bank global population data and your COVID-19 open data. So if you're going to use on your own different project, for example, you need to specify specifically what database you are going to be using. So you are this part here, join country pop. So basically, it will be joining the country population data from this database to this data, from the data from here, this database. Okay, and then we will be ordering them based on the case percent description. Okay, so by the way, this one here is the date of the cumulative cases. So this was from last year, December 31, 2020. So you can change the date here. You can say January 1, 2021, or a more recent one, June 2021. So it's all up to you, or actually depending on what is asked of you to get. So you can change this date. You can also change this the number. So you can add cumulative confirm, cumulative deaths, cumulative active, or rather cumulative deaths, cumulative recovered. Okay. So how do you know what is the correct one that will? So you will see that in the data later in the population when we look at the actual COVID-19 open data. So going back, so here is our client. So our client is the Bigquery client, but we need to correct this JSON file. So this is from the old one that I was using. So you need to change this one with your own JSON file. So where is your own JSON? Where is our data? Wait lang. So this is PyCharm, project 1. Okay, here is our JSON data. So we'll just copy. So let's say rename, so that I can copy the name. Okay, so copy the file name, Control V. So yeah. Okay, so you have now your JSON file. So DS, so you copy the file name, just the file name for the JSON file. Okay, and then the query job is basically you don't have anything to do here. Now you are going to insert the query job to the data frame DF, and then you want to see if you are successful in doing that in that as a check to check rather if you have been successful in getting your order. So you need to we print our records. So here we print the first 100 records. Okay, so print the df.head. So df, this is the data frame df. So this is the container for the data frame. So this is the command that specifies just print the heads, the first 100 row, basically. And then this one is to generate the horizontal bar chart. So you plot it using matplotlib. So plot the data frame, country name, case percent, and align it center. So, and then plt show, so that show your graph. So let's run it here. So we can run it here, but make sure that you are running the correct Python file. So this is not the main, this is the main.py. This is what you want to run is the Bigquery COVID-19, COVID01.py. So just change it to the COVID. Actually, we can just double right click here and run this one. Okay, so as you can see, it had run for COVID. Bigquery COVID01 is the one here. So, okay, so you have here aggregates. Okay, so you have a problem with your aggregate. So you cannot show your plot. Okay, but you have downloaded, or rather from here you can see you have downloaded the case percent, country name, the country codes. This is the first 100 records of those countries that you basically have successfully downloaded the data from Bigquery. So let's try another one. So this one is from the Philippine data, Bigquery 02. Okay, so double click. So this is Bigquery, the second Python file. So this one is a different one. So this is we select here. So in order to select which is or rather to specify or tell basically Bigquery what information it's going to or rather it in order to filter the data that Bigquery will download, this is the part of the script that filters. So basically, Bigquery will be downloading these columns from these from the COVID-19 open data, and these columns from the Global World Bank Population Database. But of course, there's a lot of data. So in order to specify or filter out the actual data that you want to use, this is the part that tells you, or rather that allows you to specify what to look for. So we just want to get here the data from the Philippines. So I just put it here, country code is PH. So if you want to get only the number of deceased, you just remove these lines and remove these lines so that you will just get the cumulative deceased. Same way if you just want to get the recovered data. So just remove the unnecessary lines. So this one specifies that only the data from the Philippines, the country code is of PH, will be used. Okay, so we will be running this, but before we run this, we need to change, of course, our JSON file. So inputting our new JSON file. So this is the type. Okay. So one thing about this one, this is a slightly different code. We are using here Pandas, not Matplotlib. The reason why is because we are going to export our data to CSV. So we will be using Pandas here. Actually, I doubt if you are going to use Pandas. No. Alright. We won't be using because yeah, there is no specific Pandas code here. But anyway, you have here your so let's just remove this one. Okay. You have here your export to CSV. So in the previous sample, in this first example, we just want to plot but we didn't export the data in any CSV file. But in this one, we want to export the data that we got into a CSV file. So here is the code to export it. So we just df that to CSV. So this is our file name. So ph underscore 2020 underscore COVID. Okay, so you have your, you can actually change your file name to what you wanted. Okay, so again, we need to have to know if we are going to, if we are successful in downloading the correct file. So we need to at least print the records, the first 100 of the records. So let's run it. So right click and run. Okay, so the process has been finished. So you started with 2020 January 1. So there's no data yet. Case percent is still at 0, but come April 6, 2020 last year, so we have 0.01% of the case. Now, if you look at the folder, you can see here your ph2020.csv. So this is your ph2020 COVID CSV that you have exported. So you can visualize this one using your Excel, or in my case, LibreOffice. So it's going to open LibreOffice Calc. Okay, so here is my CSV file. Okay, so you have here blanks. We will, in the next part of the lecture, or rather in the cleaning part of the lecture for weeks, I think it's week 6, you have here the codes that you would be using to actually remove the empty cells. Now, one difference between the cells with 0 and the empty cells, it's a headache. So, cells with 0 can somehow or the other still be used for calculation, but empty cells cannot be used. So it's either you put 0 in these cells or get the running average, or just remove this entire row completely. So those are some of the things that we will be using or utilizing. So as you can see here, this is starting from January 1 of 2020, and then do not be alarmed if you have 0 in the initial part, because remember, the first recorded cases was in February, the end of January. I stand corrected, it's the end of January. So you have here, and then from there, the number of cases escalated. So coming in March, so remember March 9 was the lockdown, the school lockdowns, the announcement of the school lockdowns, where we were not, actually it's the last day that we were able to go to school. And then coming March 10 and onwards, we are all work from home or study from home. So anyway, so these are the COVID data. So let's go at the end of this graph. Okay, so as you can see, some of the data are missing. So this, because this is from the open data database. So this is more of a voluntary work. So don't be alarmed if you have empty spaces there. That means there is no good-hearted volunteer that has uploaded data, statistical data in that database. So in the Philippines, as of June 19, so that's the most complete one. So we have, so what is this column? So you have cumulative recovered, disease, and confirmed. So cumulative, so as you can see, it's always increasing. If it's cumulative, so it's adding on and on, continuously increasing number of cases. So you have 33 for this is 334,880 recovered. Am I correct? This is the recovered. Yeah, it should be 23,000 deaths, and this is the number of cases, cumulative cases as of June 19. So we have up until July 6, basically, although it's empty. So this is because actually today is July 5. So in some cases, they already have the July 6 data. But anyway, so you have this. So anyway, that's for the data retrieval using Bigquery. So in the next part, we will be exploring on cleaning, data cleaning this CSV file from unwanted empty cells, for instance. Okay, so that's it for this part of the lecture. Hopefully, it has become clear to most of you. Okay, before I forget, allow me to show you the actual where if you want to before I forget, let me show you where I got the data. So, or how will you get your the COVID-19 data. So, here from the menu, I went to the marketplace. So, it's nothing. Okay, so from the marketplace, we want to see COVID-19 open data. So that is the database that we are looking, that we were using. This is from Google Cloud. BigQuery is the tool that allows us to retrieve the data, but the actual database is actually the COVID-19 open data. So this is your dataset. So here are the data. These are the columns inside this data set. So you have the province, the country, region, the date, latitude, longitude information, geographic or geometric location. You have confirmed, cumulative disease, and then the cumulative recovered. And then they also have the active cases. The current cases, which is actually just a calculated column where it is calculated from cumulative confirmed minus recovered minus deceased. And the values here should be null. So you have also subregions and other location keys. So this is basically the data that the database from where we are getting our data. This data comes from this database. So you can view it in the marketplace. So this is the data part. Okay, so let's look into your data set. From here, actually, you can try to query. You can even, if you don't want to use the Python script, you can actually query it here directly. So, actually, I'll leave you to explore it, but you can query it using your own data set. So, I have no saved queries at the moment. So, you need to create your own query here. So, anyway, so that's for our data retrieval using the Bigquery. Okay, so I already had this available, the two Python files. So depending on what you just need to edit, specify this values here, and of course, the values here. In this case, this one filters out all of the countries, but specifies the exact date. So the date format, this is December 31 of 2020. So if you want to change it to say April 1, so just 2021, so just change it to 2021 0401. Okay, so that's it. Hopefully you will be able to do your activity now peacefully this time.